Okay, as you most likely have heard by now, um, Matthew Perry has been found dead in a hot tub. So, God knows what medical emergency he had for that to happen. Because a hot tub is not a place where you can accidentally drown. There had to be something to this because, a hot tub you sit in, you relax. I mean, I guess you could fall asleep, but most likely he had a medical issue. But let's find out the latest. Friends star Matthew Perry was found dead Saturday in a hot tub at his Los Angeles home, law enforcement sources said. He was 54. Authorities responded about 4 p.m. to his home, where he was discovered unresponsive. The sources, who spoke on condition of anonymity because the investigation was ongoing, did not cite a cause of death. Because, no, the fact that he drowned is, well, technically that's a cause of death, but maybe they're saying he didn't drown? I don't know. Maybe they're backtracking on that? No drugs were found at the scene, sources said, and for those who aren't aware, he has a history of drug abuse. He said he's been clean and sober since 2021, so hopefully that was the case. It seems like that was the case. Additionally, no foul play is suspected, according to law enforcement sources. A representative for Perry did not immediately respond to the Times' request for comment. This is from the LA Times, in case you're wondering. The Los Angeles Police Department's robbery homicide detectives are investigating the death. The cause of death will be determined at a later date by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office. We are devastated by the passing of our dear friend Matthew Perry, Warner Brothers Television Group, which produced Friends, said in a statement to the Times. Matthew was an incredibly gifted actor and an incredible part of the Warner Brothers Television Group family. The impact of his comedic genius was felt around the world, and his legacy will live on in the hearts of so many. This is a heartbreaking day, and we send our love to his family, his loved ones, and all of his devoted fans. And I have to admit, never watched Friends, but you would have to have seriously lived under a rock not to have heard of it. Because there were promos everywhere. Because this was at a time before streaming where you had a few channels and you were going to see promos for it. It was impossible to get away. Never watched it, but I've seen bits and pieces through the promos of him. What shocks me is not because of what an amazing actor he was or whatever. It was the fact that he is 2 years older than me. People our age should not be dropping dead. That should not be an issue. But, I believe Andy Gibb ended up dying of an issue that was initially caused by his drug abuse back in the 70s. So it could be something related to his abuse of drugs and alcohol that just came to bite him in the butt all these years later. Who knows? We are incredibly saddened by the too soon passing of Matthew Perry. NBC, which aired the series for all 10 seasons, oh Jesus Christ, no wonder it seemed like it went forever, said in its own statement to the Times. He brought so much joy to hundreds of millions of people around the world with his pitch-perfect comedic timing and wry wit. His legacy will live on throughout countless generations. Translation, Friends is going to be shown in perpetuity. Oh wow, that is hard. Saturday evening, yellow and black LAPD crime scene tape blocked off the entrance to Blue Sail Drive, a Tony street just off the Pacific Coast Highway at the crest of a hill with sweeping views of the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, let's just say where he lived. That won't cause trouble at all, guys. Shortly after 7 p.m., as multiple helicopters whirred overhead, Perry's mother, Suzanne, and her husband, broadcaster Keith Morrison, arrived on the scene. Morrison declined to comment. An LAPD officer at the scene said he had no information and that he did not know when any would be forthcoming. So she did remarry because her Matthew Perry's father is John Bennett Perry, who is also an actor. And I'm saying is because I have absolutely no clue whether he's alive, dead, no clue, don't care. Because he apparently has nothing to do with Matthew, or at least so far it doesn't seem like it. So she remarried, and just a fun aside, she used to be the press secretary for Pierre Trudeau, who is the father of the current Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. So, for those who didn't know, the man was born in Canada. He's a Canadian. So yeah, just an interesting factoid. Peter, a neighbor of Perry's on Blue Sail Drive, who declined to give his last name, probably because he doesn't want to get harassed, Saturday evening said he only spoke to the actor once for 5 minutes and that he was very pleasant and a nice guy. From what little I saw, he always seemed that way, but okay. It's shocking, Peter said as he waited for the LAPD, who had barred journalists from passing the police tape, to approve him for entry. He's been redoing this house forever, and he seemed fine. It's very sad. Leo, another neighbor who declined to give his full name, said he was home when an ambulance arrived at Perry's house Saturday afternoon. He declined to say whether paramedics tried to revive Perry or if a body was removed from the premises. I was shocked, he said. It was very disturbing and sad after all these years. Perry was one of his favorite actors, Leo said, and the funniest member of the Friends cast. I encountered him once and he was very, very friendly, more so than I thought, Leo said. It's definitely a tragedy, especially at such a young age, he added. I was very heartbroken to see what happened. And he probably was surprised because you've heard so many horror stories about actors being absolute garbage humans when you meet them. So it's always refreshing to find that someone is genuinely a nice person. Perry, the son of actor John Bennett Perry and Suzanne Marie Langford, one-time press secretary of Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, was born in 1969 and grew up between Montreal and Los Angeles after his parents separated when Perry was 1. He got his start as a child actor, landing guest spots on Charles in Charge and Beverly Hills 90210, and playing opposite River Phoenix in the film A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon in the 1980s and early 1990s. But his big break came when he was cast in Friends, originally titled Friends Like Us, a sitcom about 6 single New Yorkers navigating adulthood that premiered on NBC in 1994. The series soon became a juggernaut, the anchor of the network's vaunted Thursday night must-see TV lineup and turned Perry and his castmates Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer into megastars almost overnight. At its high watermark, for a 1996 Super Bowl episode and the 2024 series finale, the series could notch more than 50 million live viewers by its end. Cast members were earning more than $1 million an episode. I really wonder how they would have done in today's climate where you can stream whatever, whenever, and there's just so many choices. I really wonder if it would have been the mega hit that it became. I mean, it might have, but since, there wasn't the choices that you have now, I'm really curious how they would have done in today's climate. As Chandler Bing, the handsome, wisecracking roommate of LeBlanc's Joey Tribbiani, and later love interest of Cox's fastidious Monica Geller, Perry distinguished himself in a crackling ensemble cast. With his dry delivery, he created a catchphrase with a mere turn of inflection, based on banter he'd share with childhood friends. Could he be any more Chandler? Okay. Soon he was attached to major stars like Julia Roberts and appearing in prominent films such as 1997 rom-com Fools Rush In, opposite Salma Hayek, and 2000 ensemble mob comedy The Whole Nine Yards with Bruce Willis. There was a dark side to the life of one of television's most beloved funny men. However, in his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, Perry recounted his lifelong struggle with addiction to alcohol and opioids. He wrote that he had his first drink at 14, but Nick didn't recognize the signs of alcoholism until 21. Since then, he estimated, he spent more than $7 million on efforts to get sober, including multiple stints in rehab. His substance abuse also led to a number of serious health issues, including a 5-month hospitalization in 2018 following a colon rupture that left him, he wrote, with a 2% chance to live through the night. Yikes. So like I said, God knows what medical issue he had, because we initially heard that he drowned in a hot tub. That is not something that you do, even if you're trying to commit suicide. That is not the method people think of because it's a hot tub. You have to try hard. So unless they're completely changing that story, I don't know. Let's see. And as for, him having his first drink at 14, it depends on how you're being monitored. Was it a full drink? Did you get drunk? How does your body react? Because I used to have shots with my parents, basically, just a drop ever since I can remember. Ever since I was in elementary school. But it was, we were with our parents. There was a limit to what we could have. So it's not like they let us get drunk since we were in elementary school or something. So I don't know the situation. I don't know if it's genetics, what led him to alcoholism. It could be anything. And it was fueled, he acknowledged, during a Friends reunion special in 2021 by the pressure to land the joke in front of a live studio audience night after night. I have to admit, that's gotta be nerve-wracking. I've heard that stand-up is very, very hard in the best of circumstances. And I'd forgotten that shows at this time were taped in front of a live audience. So, yeah, that's basically, like Broadway on steroids or something. So, yeah. Yeah, that had to be tough. Do I condone what he did? No. Fine. There's got to be a better way to deal with the stress. But it's understandable. Nobody wanted to be famous more than me, Perry told the Times in April. Oh, that never ends well. Discussing friends, lovers, and the big terrible thing at the Festival of Books. I was convinced it was the answer. I was 25, it was the second year of Friends, and 8 months into it, I realized the American dream is not making me happy, not filling the holes in my life. I couldn't get enough attention. Fame does not do what you think it's going to do. It was all a trick. You know, now, as a tangent, I think I've already been doing those, but anyway, as a tangent, I had a friend who felt that way about getting married. He was so desperate to get married, thinking that that was what's going to make him happy. Totally desperate. And he ended up getting married and shortly afterwards getting a divorce. So yeah, it's one thing to be passionate about something and want something really bad. Goals are good. But if you are putting your happiness on the line, saying, oh, this is what's going to make me happy, that's what's going to make me happy. No, that's not the way happiness works. Unfortunately, especially if you're that desperate. I mean, you can't do that to yourself. Because if you do, then bad things happen. Like getting addicted to alcohol. Especially since it turned out to not be what you expected. And then what do you do then? I get it. You think this is a wonderful thing. So, this will solve all your problems. But when they say money can't buy happiness, that's not just a saying. I mean, obviously money helps. But there's more to life than just money. Perry was remembered on Saturday by friends and collaborators such as Selma Blair, Paget Brewster, Morgan Fairchild, and Mira Sorvino as a singular comic talent and kind soul. Perry's Friends co-star Maggie Wheeler, who played his on-again, off-again girlfriend Janice on the hit show, shared a sweet tribute on Instagram. What a loss. The world will miss you, Matthew Perry, she wrote. The joy you brought to so many in your too short lifetime will live on. I feel so very blessed by every creative moment we shared. He was also memorialized by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Pierre's son and one of Perry's childhood friends. Well, considering his mother was Pierre Trudeau's secretary, I guess it shouldn't be surprising that he would have been friends with Justin. That shouldn't surprise anybody. Matthew Perry's passing is shocking and saddening, Trudeau wrote on X. I'll never forget the schoolyard games we used to play, and I know people around the world are never going to forget the joy he brought them. Thanks for all the laughs, Matthew. You were loved, and you will be missed. Though Perry estimated he had relapsed 60 or 70 times since first getting sober in 2001, he maintained a steady presence on American television, playing key parts in backstage dramedy Studio 60 on Sunset Strip and therapy sitcom Go On, and making a steady stream of guest appearances on acclaimed shows such as The West Wing and The Good Wife. Since his near-death experience in 2018, Perry had found solace in friends, frequent games of pickleball, and especially writing. Though producing Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing had forced him to relive his darkest moments, it also connected him to all the sufferers out there. I had a story to tell, a story that could really help people, he wrote, and helping others had become the answer for me. I'm glad that he could finally find happiness, it sounds like. Indeed, for all his success as an actor and more recently as a best-selling memoirist, Perry told the Times in April that his work was not the center of what he hoped would be his legacy. Asked how he'd like to be remembered, he said, as a guy who lived life, loved well, lived well, and helped people. That running into me was a good thing and not something bad. Well, it sounds like by those two neighbors that they interviewed, sounds like he accomplished what he wanted. So that is all I have for that article. And I will do an update if there is a cause of death released. Again, like I said, initially they said he drowned in a hot tub. So it must have been medical because there were no drugs on him. And I assume that includes alcohol. But now they're just saying nothing about that. They're not saying anything about a hot tub or drowning. So either that was a rumor that just got out there, or that was the initial finding, and then they realized, oh, maybe we should, walk it back until we know for sure. Who knows? But I will keep track of this, and if we learn anything more, I will certainly let you know. So with that, and before I go, if you have any requests, because this video was requested, if you have any requests, you can put them down in the comments below, whether it be for this channel or my other channel. And if possible, I will most definitely do the video. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one.